Hi, and welcome to another episode of Webcam Sessions. Today we're going to be working on a technique that helps us pick individual melody notes much faster, much like a guitarist would use a pick, a flat pick, which you can use with a uke. I prefer to just use my fingers though, and the technique we're working on today allows us to get that same sort of sound. So just to kind of talk a little bit about the technique, normally if a guitar were trying to play a really fast line, they'd have a pick between their fingers and they get the opportunity to pluck it downwards and then upwards. Right now I'm just using my pointer finger as if I had a pick there. And that can allow them to get much faster with their picking and play these faster, licks and things. And that's because the pick essentially can have two dimensions to it, going downward and upward. And if I use my thumb here, normally when I'm playing it, it's all downward motions. I can bring my thumb back up and use the nail, but it's, to me, not as accurate and not as much force behind the up strum as there is the down. So the technique that we use I call alternating picking. And what it is using our thumb and our middle finger to alternate which one is striking the string. So to start here, let's just look at our A string. And let's take our thumb and let's place it about a 45-degree angle to the string, right about at the start of the sound hole. And we're going to take our middle finger and we're going to curl it down. Notice how there's some space between the fingers. And the middle finger will be about a perpendicular angle to the A string as well. And you'll notice because of my hand size and the uke shape I'm playing right now, it about spans the sound hole. You'll notice if you've got bigger hands, it might go this far. If you've got smaller hands, it might go a little less, and that's okay. We're just trying to get a little bit of distance there, and the most important part is a 45-degree angle and a perpendicular angle. And now what I'm going to practice is striking down with my thumb on the string, and then taking my middle finger, I'm going to come back up. And as I do this, my hand does have a little bit of a rocking motion. Not a lot, not like a full strum, but just enough. I can start getting more speed. It's much faster than if I were just playing down each time, right? So here it is from another angle. So when you play really fast lines, instead of just trying to use the thumb, you can use your two fingers instead. Right? And that's a song I think we'll learn in other webcam sessions, but today we're going to learn the Game of Thrones theme song. It's getting closer to that new season, I think, so I figured it was perfect. And the reason this is such a great example is it really encompasses the alternating finger picking technique, and it even does it between strings a little bit. So go ahead and look right now. You'll see a little piece of tab just appeared. Thanks to the guys at UU for doing these awesome graphics. And with this tab, we're going to be playing the Game of Thrones theme song. And you'll notice it's just the first measure right now. If you haven't read tab before, and this is a very confusing thing, please check out the description of this video because in it will be linked the video for reading tablature that we did on Webcam Sessions several episodes ago. So let's go ahead and take a look at this tab and playing through it. So we're going to start here with the 5th fret on the A string. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our pinky finger on the 5th fret of the A string. Now we're going to set up the rest of it. So you'll notice the next thing that's played is 3 on the E. Go ahead and take your middle finger and place it on the 3rd fret of the E string. Now the next note that will be played after that 3 is a 1 on the A, and we're going to just set it up right now. So go ahead and take your index finger and place it on the 1st fret of the A string. You might notice this is a little bit of a stretch, and so if it is, make sure it's kind of like yoga. Try to hold the pose a little bit, shake out the hand, reapply, shake out the hand, reapply. Eventually, the flexibility will be there. So what we're going to start here for playing it is the pinky on the 5A. We're going to play with our middle finger using our alternating method. So I'm going to play just that 5th fret on the A string with my up on the middle. Now the very next note I'm going to play is 3 on the E, and because I'm alternating, I'm going to use my thumb going down. So we have 5, 3. Now we're going to come back up on 1, so we're going to strip our pinky away, but notice how our index finger is there ready to go on 1. We're going to play that. And we're going to be playing that with our middle finger. So the first 3 notes are. Now the next thing we're going to play is 3 on the A string. Now there's 2 different ways we can do this. We can move our middle finger down, which you'll notice might be a little bit easier. But what I like to do is add my ring finger underneath the middle finger so that the middle finger note is still ringing when I want to play the A string on the 3rd fret. So that note will be played, and you'll notice we're going to be using our thumb to strike that note. So the first 4 notes now are 5 with our pinky here using our middle finger on our playing hand, then 3 on our E string with our thumb, then 1 on the A string coming back up, 3 on the A string going down with our thumb. And then we're going to go back up to 5, and it essentially just repeats those first 4 notes. You'll notice that the measure is broken up into 2 little sections, and they are exactly identical. So it sounds and looks something like this. And that's the whole measure. So let's go ahead and try that from a couple of perspectives here. Pretty cool, right? Now right now it might feel like there's a lot of moving parts and you're doing a little bit of the rub the tummy and pat the head as I try to not rub the mic. But that essentially will go away with practice. The really awkward thing right now is getting really comfortable alternating between these and going between strings, which is why I picked this little tune to help with it. Now what's really cool is right now we looked at the first measure. If we look at the first 2 measures now, you'll notice it's the same thing repeated. So we just take what we just played and we play it all the way through twice, right? So that looks and sounds something like this. Pretty cool, right? One more time there. Excellent. So the next 2 measures are actually the last 2 measures that we're going to play. They look something like this, and you'll notice they're very similar to what we were just playing, but the difference now is instead of being on 1 of the A string with our index finger on our playing hand, we're going to be on 2 of the A string with our index finger. So the shape that we're making changes from looking like this to something like this. You'll notice my hand is naturally going to turn a bit. When it's at the 1, it's sort of slanted out towards my shoulder. But when it's at the 2, it's more straight up and down just to allow the stretch to essentially be fitting. So now we're going to play the same sort of line. So let's go ahead and walk through this. So we've got 5 on the A. We're going to play that with our pinky finger on our fretting hand. We're going to pluck it with our middle finger on our playing hand. Then we're going to play 3 on the E with our middle finger of our fretting hand. We're going to do that with our thumb going downwards on our playing hand. Then we're going to strip away the pinky, play 2 with our index finger here, coming up with the middle finger, and then going down on 3 with our ring finger on our fretting hand. We're going to play it with our thumb on our playing hand, and then come back up on 5 with our pinky, using our middle finger on our playing hand. And then 3 again on the E with our middle finger, using our thumb down. And 2 with our index finger on the fretting hand, coming up with our middle finger on our playing hand. And then 3 with our ring finger on our playing hand, going down with our thumb on our playing hand. It's very confusing, right? There's a lot of numbers being thrown around right now, and I understand it can be very complicated and confusing to look at. So one of the best things that you can do is just practice playing this line and keeping in mind that you're going to start with the middle finger, and then you're always going to alternate on every single note. You're never going to play the thumb twice. You're never going to play the middle finger twice. It always alternates. And that's what creates the sound of this technique, and what creates the efficiency of it is by always alternating, we can build up a lot more speed to play a lot of different things, right? So here's what the thing sounds like, the Game of Thrones theme, as I play kind of through the whole thing. Right? So I kind of repeated it there. You'll notice that it can just kind of repeat on forever. Sounds pretty cool, right? So let me know what you think of this technique and if it helps you in terms of being able to play single notes faster, more like if you're playing with a pick, only just using your fingers. And also be sure to comment below with what your favorite Game of Thrones character is, because that's a very, very important thing. And I'll comment mine below as well. So, well, have a wonderful week. I will talk to you next week on the next episode of Webcam Sessions, and see you next time.